Asikoe of Jabali, Africa. But I'm just gonna let him sit for a minute.
Yeah, man. Sima like music.
Yeah. My name is Giorgio Dege. You can just call me Giorgio. And it's all about my new book, Rumba Evolution, from Africa to the world and back home. It's available on Amazon now, ebook and print version. All right. The audiobook is in the works. It will come out, so you can get it on Amazon. So the book, if I may just set it up, is about rumba music, how it originated in Africa, okay? And then went to Cuba about slave ships, mostly from Congo, the Congo Kingdom, back then, and Angola. And the slaves were taken to Cuba. And on these slave plantations, these African slaves tried to recreate the traditional music. And while doing that, they combined it with a guitar, a type of guitar from Spain that was originally called the bandola, but now it's called the tres, and created a type of music called Cuban song. Cuban song is what evolved eventually to become Congolese rumba, or rumba Congolese. Sometimes we just call it Lingala music, all right? So from the Cuban plantations, and after slavery was abolished, these former African slaves ended up in ghettos, in Havana mostly, and Matanzas. And what they did for their leisure was play the music that created in the plantations. So the music ended up being very popular. It caught on from about 1920s. Then it went to America. And in America, back then, it wasn't as close as now. Cuban people were able to travel back and forth. A lot of them settled in Spanish Harlem in New York, where this music fused with jazz and became salsa. So you hear salsa music, that's African music, right? Then there, the American companies, record companies, such as Victor, started recording the music over there. And the vinyl, which was called GV series, eventually got to Africa. And it was the vinyl was brought back by mostly African soldiers who had been recruited by the Allied powers to fight for them in World War II. So these folks brought this vinyl back. And also, radio had just started then, was the most popular medium. In Congo, they had Radio Congolia and Radio Congo Belgique that used to play this Afro-Cuban music. And in Congo, it was fused with the local sounds and became what we now call Congolese rumba, or rumba Congolais in French. And it's also popularly known as Lingala music, just Lingala. And in Congo, it evolved over time into soukous, and then went to the world, to France and other parts of the world. And it became a popular type of dance music, right? So it also did find its way to East Africa, mostly Tanzania and Kenya, and I discussed that in the book. So when it got to Kenya, there are certain things that happened, and that's what we're going to discuss. What happened in Kenya when the Congolese rumba bands got to Nairobi, all right? So my friend, a person I consider family, I've known him for a long time, has the front view of how that music both influenced and disrupted the local music scene. So Justo,
Yeah, man.
I kind of set it up so that now we're in Kenya. It's probably the 70s,
Yeah.
and there's an influx of Congolese bands, which, of course, popularized rumba, the Congolese rumba.
Yeah.
So they get here. We have a very vibrant music scene here, Kenyan music scene. There's clubs, you know, that the nightlife is you know, it's hard. We have radio, okay? And we have Kenyan bands that were really popular then. So everything was Kenyan. And we had some of the best studios in Africa,
Oh, yeah.
all right? So the Congolese bands arrived, all right? Where were you at that time? What did you see?
Yeah, man, I know.
Yeah.
You know, in the 70s, there are people who were born in the 70s.
Yes.
But I can assure you, I used to listen to a lot of Kenyan music on radio when I was young.
Yeah.
The guitar, I started playing the guitar when I was 12.
Okay.
My father, we used to listen to the radio, and I remember one person one radio personality that we used to like with my father, James. Was it James Onyango Joy?
James Onyango Joy.
Yeah, that guy. I remember when I was 12, my father introduced me to the mutibo. I know how to play it. The mutibo, the Rebecca or the Sumbua, the Kabaka.
So it's a certain type of Kenyan music from Western Kenya.
Yes.
All right.
That music was, if you remember, even before the independence and after independence.
Right.
I was not born yet, but I could relate. My father, I could hear that from my father and even over the radio. So my dad used to play me. I learned playing music from Zilizopendo.
Yes.
You know, Zilizopendo is classic Kenyan music. That's what I learned from. And I remember my father used to tell me, that's this style. Oh, this is something else. Oh, this is something else. So my ears were already tuned to that sound.
To that sound.
Although we were hip people as we were growing up.
Because you grew up in the city.
I grew up in the city. I was
Yes, you
born
grew
in
up
the
in
city.
Nairobi. You were born in the city.
Even my luya.
Yes.
My luya, I learned my luya in America.
Okay, so but now
Yeah.
there's this concept in Kenya that if you like rumba music, or if you Kenyan rumba, there's Kenyan rumba.
Yes.
If you listen to Umtibo,
Yeah.
if you listen to Benga, if you like Benga,
Yeah.
Wedim Shamba,
Now, wait a minute.
Hey.
Oh, Jui.
you're a country cousin.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Yeah, that's it.
Because remember Daudi Kabaka was not a Luya superstar, he was a Kenyan superstar.
He was a Kenyan
He was a Kenyan superstar.
Yeah.
So these youngsters need to understand that we had real Kenyan superstars. Fadili William, Fundi Konde, John Zenze. The whole country listened to them.
Yes.
Okay? So in the 70s when the Congolese bands came, okay, there's a thing that happened here that did not happen in Tanzania and I keep emphasizing this, or in Congo. Mobutu was a dictator, but he supported the local art and music scene.
And culture.
Okay? And culture.
Yeah.
So their music blossomed.
Yeah.
Nyerere was a communist or a socialist, right? They didn't have as many freedoms as we did in Kenya, but they supported the local act. On the radio, Tanzania, Dar es Salaam, the music had to be in Swahili, and it had to be local music. Okay?
Yeah.
They only allowed maybe 20%. In Kenya, there was no such thing. So VOK, which later became KBC, started playing mostly Congolese music and Tanzanian music. So when I tell people Sina Makosa, which is one of the most popular songs ever in Kenya, one of the most popular singles, it's done by Tanzania.
Yeah.
Okay? Dio Misiani, who is considered the king of Benga, which is Kenyan music, he's originally from Tanzania.
Yeah.
And when he died, he got buried there.
Yeah.
So we had a vibrant music scene. We had the best studios. Okay? So the Congolese folks arrived, and the government did not protect the rights of musicians. So they were killed off.
Yeah.
Okay? So bands like Super Mazembe, Mangele Park, Samba Mapangala,
Yeah.
they thrived.
Yeah.
They took over all the clubs.
Yeah.
Okay? So what as a musician, at that time, you are probably a teenager, but you're already into music.
Yeah.
But you saw the music scene change.
Yeah.
What kind of changes did you see there?
That what I can tell you is like, you know, Kenyans, I don't know what we did wrong, but we love foreign stuff. Number one thing, the radios, I remember that time, we used to have one radio. At least KBC used to try and play, it used to play Kenyan. It used to have a variety of shows. But it's like a program like the classic music of Kenya, zilizopendwa, that is, was being played at night, at around 8, I think.
But it has to be a program.
It was just a small program.
Just
but the rest of the radio hosts, they were playing Congolese.
Yes.
Because that's what they used to see in what do you call it? In the clubs. But another thing that also made Kenyan bands not to thrive was because music was not taken seriously here. We never used to support our artists.
And the media and the government did not help.
Did not. They thought
because in Tanzania, bands like Mlimani Park Orchestra, which was supported by the
government,
trade union and government, they even had a tour bus.
They had a tour bus.
They had instruments.
They had instruments.
Maybe they didn't pay them much, but they had a paycheck.
Yeah, but I remember I could see even on their, I love instruments.
Yes.
I'm a professional.
Yes.
In terms of checking out equipment-wise. The equipment that I used to see with those bands, it used to be top-notch.
Top-notch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be top-notch brand, So the thing is like, our people, the mentality, it started with our people. And people valued education more than talent, even till today.
Even till today,
yeah. If you tell somebody you want to make a living out of music, they'll think you're crazy.
It's like, you gotta go to school.
Yeah, they'll say that's a hobby. That's a hobby, but
yes.
you gotta go back, you gotta go to school. I don't dispute going back. Going to school is good. Any knowledge is good. But we should take things seriously.
Right.
To a level that people know, to a level people can appreciate that and make it a source of revenue. Than criticizing it.
That's very true. So you heard it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
He's a musician, instrumentalist, composer, born, raised here in Kenya. And in the next session, we'll talk about how you can actually make money from cultural music.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You can.
And you're feeding your soul. At the same time, you're feeding your soul. So the mentality must change. And if you look at things on a broader way, we talk about inventions. Creativity is invention. You understand?
Yes.
So invention, it applies in every sector. In medicine, in whatever, carpentry, engineering. We don't want to be taking stuff from outside. We need to build our own.
Our own. And so when we come back, okay, we will discuss the role culture plays in music, because music is a representation of culture.
Yes.
And if you don't attach culture to the music, you are lost. Okay, when we come back. Yeah, so Justo.
Yeah, man.
Culture.
Yes.
Is a big thing. Okay? Mwachamila ni mtumwa.
Mtumwa.
Ni mtumwa.
You don't even know,
Okay. Na kama unacheza muziki, let's say switch to Swahili a little bit. Kama unacheza ngoma ama muziki sio yenu, wewe ni mtumwa.
Wewe ni mtumwa.
Wewe ni mtumwa.
Because
period.
Unaimba story ya mtu.
Unaimba story ya mtu.
And ujue your story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell your story. Okay? So the thing that when you are abroad or overseas, when you see music videos made in Kenya or other places, and these cats, that's what they use now, that's the term these young kids use. These cats have this design, or what I think is design, because most of them are bootleg, okay?
Yeah, they're bootleg.
Yes, but they have this designer, so they're doing gengeton or whatever they're doing, and the shirts are done with New York.
Yeah.
Okay? London, Paris. What are they representing?
They actually, because they're representing a fake New York, number one, and a fake...
Because New York is not in Nairobi.
Yeah, because and also what they have is bootleg. So you see, like, that's for sure.
Okay.
You know, they're representing, like what you have right now. If I look at you, I'm seeing you're representing a place.
Yes.
You're representing Africa.
If I walk out there, somebody will ask, okay, I see that, what part of Africa are you coming from?
Yeah.
But if I have a Gucci, by the way, if you have a Gucci with a big G, it's a fake.
It is.
The Gucci is kind of, hidden, you know what I mean? So if I'm there out there with a big G there, they don't know even where to place me. Because black people are all over the world.
Yeah, they are.
So they can't pinpoint where you come from, unless you don't want anything to do with your country or culture, then you wear those Gucci's, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So, the Kenyan music, urban music,
Yeah.
is almost totally disconnected from Kenyan culture. And that's why we are suffering internationally. You have performed at some of the biggest music festivals in the world. You hardly see any Kenyans there.
Yeah, hardly. Actually, I've never seen any Kenya.
Okay. And there's money to be made there.
Yeah.
You guys have made your money, not being on the Billboard charts, because people think that you have to be number one there to make money.
Well, that's the point.
But you guys are for probably 2 decades, toured.
Almost 3.
You're the most toured. Jabali Africa is the most toured Kenyan band.
Over 1 million miles.
Over 1 million miles.
In America,
that's not kilometers. That's over
miles.
That's like 2.2 million kilometers on the road, kwa barabara.
On the road.
Okay? So, Walete, Karibu, and we're talking to the young musicians. You guys are all very talented, but cultural aspect is missing. We need to reattach this.
Yes.
Walete vile, how you've succeeded, okay? To support yourselves, to support your families, with music that saa zingine si usema ni ya washamba. Wambie.
Kama unasema muziki ni ya washamba, then wewe ni mshamba. The thing is like, there's nothing as cool as having a culture. Having a culture is not, I'm going to repeat this and I'm going to say it until I go to the grave.
You go under.
Yeah, it's not wearing feathers.
Yes,
it's not wearing skin. It's a way of life.
Right.
Culture is a way of life. The way we do our things.
Yes.
Remember how our grandpas used to do something or anything. They passed that torch to our fathers. And now they're passing that torch to us. And we need to pass that torch to our kids. So culture is a way of life. It's the way it guides you. You know? It's not like a place you go. I've gone to so many festivals and I came to find out.
And many countries.
And many countries.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, now they're asking you, where are you from?
Where are you from?
There's people from Thailand. There's people from China. There's people from America. Even
and they want to know what type of music you play. What do you
want
call
to know?
that?
Yeah, what are you bringing?
Because it's a
to us?
Yes.
Yeah, what are you bringing to us? So many people think like being traditional is being
is wearing gunias.
Yes, wearing gunias and being inferior. Is who you are.
It's who you are.
And people respect. If you look at myself, I love to create my own costumes.
Right.
If you see a lot of Jabali costumes, I made those myself. There's a time I even wore a gunia.
Yeah.
And sometimes even
I know that gunia.
Yeah. If you look at these pictures here, people think like this is people think like, oh, this guy, because muscles and all those things is trying to impress the girls. But again, one thing, there's nothing wrong impressing the girls.
There's nothing wrong.
Yeah, because that was your brand. Yeah, that was my brand. Yeah, and it's still my brand.
It's still your brand.
If you think like this guy is trying to be cool, being shirtless, no, he's not trying to be cool. He's trying to represent Shaka Zulu and represent the people that were there. So if you're jealous about that, I'm sorry, I cannot help you.
But I
cannot help you on that because this is me. This is what I want to see. Because art is also visual and is in audio.
Yes.
So it's what you hear and what you see.
And what you see.
Okay. So when somebody comes and tells you, oh, yeah, now, okay, you want to be cool like, let me say, Jay-Z.
Yeah.
I'll give those examples. Jay-Z created his own thing.
Yes.
And Jay-Z, if you listen to all that music that they're playing, is African music.
And even
African music.
And even that, when they sample music, they sample their own music.
Yeah.
Maybe it's jazz, maybe it's blues, maybe it's R&B.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
But for us, the young guys and chicks doing urban Kenyan music, we are not sampling our own music. We are not going back and sampling our own music or trying to learn our history of music. It's very rich.
It's very rich. And on that topic,
there's
a time I went to a college somewhere and I was just curious to know.
Where? Europe, United States?
In the US, somewhere in, I think it was somewhere in Texas. And no, it was in New York, upstate New York. And I was curious before the show. I was curious and I went to their music department. Guess what I found? I found a kid that was 18 years old and he was sampling and he was listening. Actually, he had a projector, a screen like this. And he was watching a show a jazz show, a very old jazz show. And I was like, I was impressed, and I asked him, why are you checking out these guys? And he was telling me he wanted to learn because he was in music department. He wanted to know where his roots came from. You know, and I'm sure if he dug deep, that stuff came from Africa.
Right.
But at his time, he wanted to learn what his other people did. People like, and I saw it was the times in the 60s. It was black and white. It was a black and white thing that you always saw jazz people. They were like a 4-piece band or a 3-piece.
Right.
He was checking out that thing.
Checking it out.
Yeah, and I waited until when he finished because he came to our show later on. And he told me that, and I was very much impressed. And I was like, I wish our Kenyan systems could have really supported us during our time to do music, rather than playing part in
when the commercial industry was still young.
Yes.
That's when we needed the government to create the structure.
To create the structure.
Because one of the main reason why our studios collapsed.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of independent labels too.
Yeah, they were here.
Here.
Yeah.
Or Yundi, or Sogo,
My father during those days in the 60s, he recorded before he was born again.
Yes.
He had recorded some stuff with I think it was Poly or something. And he told
Polygram.
Me, yeah, Polygram. They disappeared with the tracks. So I tried and told me, man, that was a long time ago.
Forget that.
Forget that stuff.
Yes.
You know, but he told me he had recorded before he was born again.
So the piracy, the piracy is what contributed heavily to killing Kenyan music, Kenyan commercial music.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we have a job because we are lagging behind now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And people keep on making noise that hey, play KE music, or studios are not doing enough. We are all at fault.
Yeah, we are all
at fault.
Yeah.
And the one thing that we have to do first is to reconnect the music to the culture.
Yeah.
Okay. And unless
cultural link must be
unless that happens, it's not Kenyan Music International is not going anywhere. And you can quote me anywhere you want. You can quote me. Unless there's that link, it's not going anywhere. The talent is there.
Yeah.
Okay. And by the way, Kenya has a lot of goodwill, more than probably any African country in the world, that we're not taking advantage of.
Yeah.
Okay. So our music, for it to go beyond Kenya, we have to reattach it with the culture.
The link must be there.
It must be there.
Yes.
Go back and hear what Umtibo is about, what Iskuti is about, okay, what Chakacha is about.
Yeah.
And that's what the other countries, that's Nigeria is doing with their own, Tanzania is doing with their own, South Africa with their own, and we are busy copying. Okay? We are busy copying.
Copying.
There's nothing wrong with borrowing and then fusing it with yours.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Joseph.
Choose to.
Oh man, okay. That's okay because
Okay.
Joseph is his brother and he was, they founded Jabali Africa. Alright? So I'm not on the wrong path there.
You cool.
I'm cool. I'm cool. So give them the final word. And I want you to address the budding Kenyan artists.
Yeah.
In a few lines.
Yeah.
Just tell them or give them advice what they need to do if at all they're interested in taking their music beyond the Kenyan borders.
Yeah, that's true. Because I'll tell you, there's one statement. Hugh Masekela was my friend. I met him a couple times when we were doing our shows in America. And he told me one thing, even for him, me coming back to Africa, it was because of Hugh Masekela.
Yeah.
Because when they set up Chisa Records, we went back, but because of the colonial, of the oppression they were going through, they had to
the apartheid.
During the apartheid system, they had to run away.
Yeah.
To exile themselves from South Africa. And you know where they landed? They landed in Europe, then they landed in New York. And that's how Sarafina was born.
Yeah.
Many people don't know that.
Okay.
You need to read in the book of Masekela. I got the book. Sarafina was actually, they formed Sarafina, but Masekela was invited by Miriam Makeba, who was based in New York.
At some point they were married.
They were married. But when they were in New York, they were playing South African music. And that's how the music came out.
They did not get to New York and try to play New York.
New Yorkers, no.
Okay. So what advice did he give you?
Masekela himself, even in the book, he said, what's this guy? Miles Davis. Miles Davis.
Yeah.
He told me, listen to him. He listened to him, and he told him,
yeah,
bro, you're playing America.
Yeah.
You're not an American.
Uh-huh.
Why can't you play something from where you come from.
Your own.
And guess what? That was the opening. That was the breakthrough of Masekela. He played, if you know the song, Grazing the Grass.
I know it.
That song, I've listened to that song in America when I'm on the road, and I always imagine how they're playing this music. Every jazz station is playing Grazing the Grass. And Miles Davis told him, that is the stuff. He told him in the American, he told him, that's the shit. Play that shit.
That one.
Yeah, play that. And it was like, man, everything changed from that time.
I'm telling you.
And Masekela told me, stick to your original music. So what I can tell them is to play where, you don't have to play like, traditional drums and all that, but trace your roots to where you came from. Kenya has it has a lot of, a diverse of cultures.
Yes.
But at somewhere, we almost borrowed from each other.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
So they need to go back and find out what their people were doing before. That's where your music is going to go far.
That way you have the roots.
Yes.
Just like a tree with strong roots.
Yes. If you
survives the strong wind.
Exactly. And if it falls down, it's still going to grow.
It's still going to grow.
Yeah.
You've heard it from the man himself. Musician, instrumentalist, composer of Jebali, Africa. Justo, as he call it, you can call him Juice. And remember, Rumba Evolution, from Africa to the world and back home, is now available on Amazon. There's a thing or two you can learn from this. Get it.